We are doing US 280. This is from Georgia and then goes into Birmingham, Alabama. So let's find out the map. US 280 is from US 80 in Bilgeton, Georgia, Black Creek, Georgia on I-16, US 25 and US 301 for Claxton, McRae Helena for US 23, 319, 341, and 441. I-75, Americus is US 19. Columbus, Georgia is I-185. Opeka is for Interstate 85, US 29 and US 431. US 231 is for Harperville. And then for Hoover, Alabama is Interstate 459. And then I-20, I-59, and US 31 for Birmingham, Alabama. US 280 begins over there. So we're on Georgia Route 30. Here's Interstate 16 for Macon and Savannah, Georgia. So we're getting off on US 80 on 280 and it begins on US 80. In Claxton, we see Glenville for US 301 and US 25, and it's saved for Statesboro for US 80, 25, and 301. So we're signed for Reedsville. Here's US 1, the Great US 1. What are they building over here? Here's US 221. We get Glenwood for 5 miles, Almo for 12, and McRae is 22. US 319 and US 441 are joining us. In McRae, we meet US 23 and 341. We are splitting off with US 319 and US 441, so 280 is leaving US 319 and 441. In Abbeville, we're meeting US 129. Interstate 75 gets signed for Macon. I would rather see Atlanta. And then for southbound, gets signed for Valdosta, but I'd rather see Tampa. Here's US 41, so we're on Business Interstate 75. We are meeting US 19, so 19 is now congruent with us. And now we're splitting off with US 19, so 280 will go into Columbus, Georgia. And now US 27 joins us. We're meeting Interstate 185, that will take you into Atlanta through Montgomery. We're signed for Phoenix City. And US 27 is splitting off, so we're about to head into Alabama. And welcome to Alabama. So we're entering Alabama on US 431. We are signed for Efalula and Dothan for US 431. That's where US 431 will meet US 82. And Dothan, where it ends. Dothan, Alabama, where US 431 ends on US 84 and US 231. And US 80 is joining us. US 80 will go to Montgomery. So US 431 and 80 and 280 are joining us. US 80 is splitting off. It is signed for Columbus. US 431 is signed for Opeka. And US 280 is signed for Birmingham. Whoa! We get Aldot's great choices. Way to go, Aldot. We are getting on Interstate 85 South. So US 29 is joining us. So that means US 431 is splitting off on US 280. We are congruent with US 29, I-85, and US 280. We are getting off the Interstate 85 and US 29, so US 280 will head into Birmingham. US 231 is joining us. It's time for Montgomery. So 231 and 280 are congruent together now. And US 231 is splitting off, so US 280 will turn straight. Here's Interstate 459. It's signed for Gadsden, but I'd rather see Chattanooga. It's time for Atlanta. One for Montgomery and one for Tuscaloosa. But Gadsden's not going to be on the choice. Tuscaloosa's an alright choice. US 31 is joining us, so US 31 will take you in to Montgomery and Homewood. And we're signed for Birmingham. Under us, there's US 78. And it says 1 mile for Interstate 20 and Interstate 59. Here's US 11 in this area. US 280 ends. It says 1/2 mile for Interstate 20 and 59. So that is it for US 280. Tomorrow we'll do US 421 after my US 82 gets published. Friday I'll do my US 441 video. So, see you tomorrow, I guess.